Asterisk, the silence of the jungle. A place where only the rustling of leaves and the distant cries of wild animals can be heard. But sometimes, hidden within these sounds, there is something else. Something beyond human understanding. Something that only awakens in the dead of night. Asterisk, 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 a father and son entered this dense jungle, thinking it was just another adventure. But little did they know, this journey would turn into a story they would never forget. A story that would haunt them forever. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Tonight I'm going to tell you a truth that is more than just a tale. Are you ready? Asterisk, asterisk. That night will always remain fresh in my mind, as if it happened just yesterday. 2 years have passed, but every time I think about it, chills run down my spine. I know this story might sound strange, and if I were in your place, I might not believe it either. But I swear, every word is true. Asterisk, it happened to my father and me. We were both adventure enthusiasts, drawn to the wilderness like moths to a flame. Our love for exploring remote areas often led us to places where few dared to go. This time, we had chosen an old campsite deep within a forest that was infamous among the locals. They whispered stories of strange occurrences, of people who had gone missing, and of eerie sounds that echoed through the trees at night. We laughed off these tales, brushing them aside as mere superstition. After all, we had spent countless nights in the wild without incident. Asterisk, the journey to the campsite was uneventful. We hiked for nearly 6 hours through dense foliage, guided only by a worn-out map and my father's compass. The forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting golden patches on the forest floor. Everything seemed normal, even beautiful. Asterisk, by late afternoon. We reached our destination, a clearing near a river, surrounded by towering trees. The campsite was deserted, as expected. We set up our tent, gathered firewood, and prepared for the night. My father, an experienced outdoorsman, ensured that we had everything we needed: food, water, flashlights, and even a hunting knife, just in case. Asterisk, as the sun dipped below the horizon, an unnatural stillness settled over the forest. The usual sounds of insects and nocturnal creatures seemed muted. It was as if the entire forest was holding its breath. A shiver ran down my spine, but I brushed it off. I told myself it was just my imagination. Asterisk, we built a fire and sat around it, eating our dinner. My father told stories from his youth about his own adventures in the wild. His voice was steady and comforting, but beneath it I sensed a hint of unease. He felt it too. Then the first sound came, a loud thud, like something heavy striking the ground, echoed from the direction of the river. We both turned our heads sharply. The firelight flickered against the darkened trees, casting eerie shadows. Asterisk, what was that? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Asterisk, probably just a branch falling. My father replied, though he didn't sound convinced. Asterisk, we listened. Silence. Then another thud, closer this time. My father grabbed the flashlight and shone it toward the riverbank. The beam of light cut through the darkness, illuminating the water's edge. Nothing, no movement, no signs of anything unusual. Asterisk. We sat back down, trying to shake off the unease. But the forest was no longer the same. The air felt heavier, charged with something I couldn't explain. Asterisk. Then the third sound. A deep, resonant impact, as if something had stomped on the ground with tremendous force. The vibration traveled through the earth, rattling the utensils near the fire. My father stood up, his hand instinctively reaching for the hunting knife. We weren't alone. A fourth thud. Closer, louder. My heart pounded against my ribs. I grabbed my father's arm. Dad. Asterisk. Get inside the tent, he ordered. His voice firm but quiet. Asterisk. We hurriedly threw more wood into the fire, hoping to keep whatever it was at bay. Then we rushed inside the tent, zipping it up in one swift motion. My father positioned himself near the entrance, gripping the knife tightly. I lay down, barely breathing, and then we heard it. A deep, guttural growl, something inhuman. It wasn't a bear, nor was it a wolf. It was something else, something that sent a primal fear surging through my veins. It sounded close, just beyond the thin fabric of the tent. Asterisk. The fire outside flickered violently, casting shifting shadows against the tent walls. And then silence. No wind, no insects, nothing. The air was thick, suffocating. I could feel my father's tension, his every muscle coiled like a spring dot. Then came the scratching. Long, deliberate scratches against the tent's fabric, as if whatever was outside was toying with us. My breath hitched. I wanted to scream, to run, but I was paralyzed with fear. My father slowly, cautiously, reached for the flashlight. He turned it on and aimed it at the tent wall. The light revealed a shadow tall, impossibly tall, with elongated limbs and an unnatural posture. It stood motionless, watching. Then, in a single, swift motion, the shadow moved. The tent shook violently as something struck it from the outside. I let out a muffled cry. My father grabbed my arm, signaling me to stay quiet. And then, darkness. I don't remember what happened next. One moment, I was staring at the tent wall in terror, and the next, I was waking up to the sound of birds chirping. Sunlight streamed through the tent's opening. I sat up, disoriented. My father was beside me, still holding the knife, his eyes wide open. He looked exhausted, as if he hadn't slept at all. We stepped outside. The campsite was untouched, no signs of struggle, no footprints, nothing to indicate that anything had happened. But the firewood we had thrown into the fire was still there, unburned, as if time had stopped. My father looked at me, his face pale. We're leaving now. We packed in silence, our hands shaking. As we hiked back, I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The forest no longer felt welcoming. It felt like it had swallowed us whole and then spat us out. To this day, we never speak of that night. My father refuses to discuss it, and I have stopped trying to make sense of it. But I know what I heard. what I saw, and I know that something was there with us.